It is almost midnight. The house is quiet. Everyone you love is asleep, and you are still awake, holding a feeling you cannot name. It is a feeling millions of adults have been carrying for years, and most of them still cannot put words to it. It does not show up in conversation. It rarely makes it to a therapist's office. It hides behind the smile you give your coworkers, behind the laugh you offer at the dinner table, and behind the casual answer you give when someone asks how you're doing. And then, late at night, when the house is quiet, the phone is glowing, and everyone you love is asleep, it surfaces. A tightness in your chest you cannot explain. A grief you cannot place. A fear that has no clear shape, but will not let you sleep. Tonight, I am going to give that feeling a name, and by the end of the next few minutes, you will understand something about yourself that you may have been struggling to put into words for years. Stay with me, because there is one thing about this condition that almost no one talks about, and I will get to it before this video ends. It is the difference between the people who are quietly drowning in this and the people who have learned to breathe. Let us start with what is actually happening in your body. When you read about a wildfire halfway around the world, when you see a glacier collapsing in real time, or when you walk through your old neighborhood and notice that the trees are different, the birds are fewer, and the seasons no longer arrive when they used to, your nervous system does not know that you are safe in your living room. It registers loss. It releases cortisol. Your heart rate climbs. Your sleep thins. Your thoughts begin to spiral through coastlines you may never see again, through forests you have never walked through, and through a future that feels more uncertain than the one your parents handed you. This has a name. Researchers call it eco-anxiety. Some call it climate grief. Others call it ecological distress or solastalgia, that strange and beautiful word for the homesickness you feel while still standing in your home. But here is what makes it so cruel and so deeply isolating. It is not a disorder. It is not a malfunction of the mind. It is, in fact, a profoundly rational response to an irrational reality. You are not broken. You are paying attention, and in a culture that rewards looking away, paying attention is one of the hardest things a human being can do. I want to share with you a finding that genuinely stopped me cold. Researchers conducted one of the largest global studies of its kind, polling tens of thousands of people across 10 countries, from the United States to the Philippines, from Nigeria to Brazil to India. Nearly 60% said they were very or extremely worried about climate change. 45% said those feelings were affecting their daily life and ability to function. More than half reported feeling sad, anxious, angry, powerless, helpless, and guilty. And 3/4 said they believed the future was frightening. 3/4 of working adults, parents, professionals, and citizens looking forward and feeling afraid. Pause on that, because that statistic is not about distant strangers. It is about the woman who took your coffee order this morning, the colleague who seemed a little quiet in the meeting, the friend you have not heard from in a few weeks. It is, statistically speaking, almost certainly about someone you love, and it may be about you. But eco-anxiety does not look the same in every body. In some people, it shows up as insomnia. In others, it appears as a creeping inability to make long-term plans. Why renovate the kitchen? Why save aggressively for retirement? Why buy property on a coast? In some, it manifests as compulsive news consumption, scrolling through climate headlines past midnight, as though enough information might somehow translate into control. In others, it presents as the opposite: a numbness, a flatness, a refusal to engage at all because engaging hurts too much. In some couples, it surfaces as a private decision to not have children or to not have more because of a crisis those children did not create. In others, it appears as a quiet morning when you walk through the place you grew up and notice that something vital has gone missing, though you cannot quite say what it is. Think about the weight of that. An entire generation of adults carrying losses they have never been given permission to name. And yet, here's the turn, the one I promised you at the beginning. Eco-anxiety, painful as it is not the enemy. The enemy is what eco-anxiety becomes when you have nowhere to put it. Psychologists who study this have noticed something remarkable. The people suffering most are not necessarily the ones who care the most. They're the ones who care the most and feel the most alone in their caring. Isolation is the accelerant. When you lie awake at midnight believing you are the only one in your office, your family, or your circle of friends who feels this weight, the anxiety calcifies into despair. But when you find even one other person who looks you in the eye and says, "Me too, I feel it too," something shifts. The weight does not disappear, but it becomes carryable, and carryable weight can be transformed. This is the part the research keeps confirming. Study after study, the single greatest predictor of psychological resilience in the face of ecological crisis is not wealth, education, or even physical safety. It is engagement. The adults who report feeling the most stable and the most grounded are not the ones who have stopped caring. They are the ones who have stopped carrying it alone. There's a concept psychologists are now calling active hope. It is not optimism. It is not the naive belief that everything will be fine. Active hope is a discipline. It is the daily choice to take the raw energy of fear, grief, and rage and channel it into something, anything. The action does not have to be heroic. It just has to be honest. One conversation, one vote, one garden, one letter, one donation, one honest sentence at a family dinner instead of biting your tongue. The fear does not leave when you act. The fear becomes fuel. So, if you have been lying awake at night, phone glowing in your hand, believing you are the only one carrying this, hear me clearly. You are not. You are part of a quiet majority of human beings on this planet who are awake, who are paying attention, and who have simply not yet found each other. Your sleeplessness is not weakness. It is a signal. It is your conscience refusing to look away. And in a world that is desperate for people who refuse to look away, that signal is not a problem to be silenced. It is a calling to be answered. So here is the only thing I will ask of you tonight. In the comments below, name it. Tell me what eco-anxiety has looked like in your life. Tell me about your version of midnight. Tell me what the news cycle does to your body, what your old neighborhood looks like now, or what you have started fearing. Even one sentence is enough. Somewhere in this comment section, someone is reading every reply, believing they are the only one. Your story, and the simple act of naming it out loud, may be the company they have been waiting for. If this gave you language for something you've been feeling, subscribe to the Grit Harbor channel so you don't miss what comes next as we continue uncovering hidden psychological phenomena. Share this with the person in your life who may be struggling with unspoken emotional injuries. Next week, we will explore. TikTok told me I have ADHD, the dark side of DIY diagnoses, and how algorithmic echo chambers are pushing young people to self-diagnose mental disorders. And remember, no one here has to weather the storm alone. Thank you for being here.